From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of Mornings LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021, live and direct from Santa Monica, California. Overnight, the Democrat caucus had that Zoom meeting led by Chuck Schumer. Did Joe Manchin participate? What happened? I have all the incredible great news in this recording. The Senate changes going to that recon will be incredible, and the details developed today are absolutely off the chains. The programs that are going to be in there are going to stay at $15,000, and more checks are going in there. We now learn today. What happened at that Zoom meeting? Oh boy, do we have a lot of great news in this recording to develop. Then we're going to turn to that third stimulus, because no worries, no time to wait to January. You can get that Christmas stimulus right now at thousands of dollars, and you get that cash in your wallet and get some holiday meals and holiday gifts. It's third stimulus. I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money right now, not waiting to January. Then we're going to turn to student loan debt forgiveness, the offer across the board on that debt forgiveness. Will the Democrats take it? And fifth stimulus, what you need to know about that COLA raise coming in January, its impact on your SNAP, and also the impact on fifth stimulus. Then I'll give you my insight as to what the Federal Reserve is likely to do in January, as the Omicron variant is now the dominant strain in the United States, with now over 70% of cases, ICU capacity at full situation right now, and business disruption growing across the country with travel, leisure, and hospitality at issue. And then I'll give you my insight as to what I think is happening with the recon. But that Zoom meeting that happened yesterday was great news. And I have that coming up in today's recording, live from Santa Monica, California, because one, the recon is happening. Two, everything that's in there is staying in there. And three, Joe Manchin's on board. Four, that more items could be added across the board, because that was the topic of discussion in that incredible recon. No time and place to wait for any of that money, because we're going to show you how to get thousands of dollars in your wallet today for third stimulus. It's a great day. It's a beautiful day. We're having a happy holidays. I'm hoping yours as well, and I hope the weather is better than my weather here today. The excitement starts right here, right now, as Mornings LA gets underway, direct and live from Santa Monica, California, and the excitement starts right now. Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful day. And here we go. That recon will pass in the month of January. We learned via a Zoom chat held by Chuck Schumer and participated by Joe Manchin among the Senate Democrats yesterday. I have the latest details. It's brand new today on Mornings. The Senate changes will be robust because Manchin asked for more items to be added to the recon and nothing to be removed. Whoa, this is great news. The programs will bring in at least $15,000, and that is before they add in that MSC potentially. And then the checks will bring you a lot of money, but no time or place to wait for January, because you got money right now. It's third stimulus. And the excitement of the third stimulus is growing. In the final 5 minutes of this video, I'll show you how to get more of that money as well. Student loan debt forgiveness, the latest details and across the board on that offer. Will the Democrats take it? And fifth stimulus, what's going on with that SNAP benefits, that COLA base, and also your fifth stimulus coming in January. I have all those details and more, plus my insight in the final 5 minutes of what's going on with that recon and the Federal Reserve with the spreading of Omicron, how it will impact business disruption across the country. Those details and more, but first I want you to subscribe. Go right on this video right now and subscribe to the number 3 most watched financial news channel in America, broadcast or internet-based. It's LALATE. Subscribe, like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member to that incredible membership newsletter. Comes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system, which you need to sign up for. It's totally free. It is under the links to this video. And with that, let's go into the incredible deliciousness happening this morning right now. This recon will pay you at least $15,000 of checks across many different programs. And the great news is that not a single check has been removed in any of these recent negotiations. That's across 3 clusters and 2 add-ons. Let's go over each of them, starting right now. Cluster number 1, hazard pay, staying in there. That's for an earned income tax credit for my essential workers. Wow. $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of care for young children. They got in there and staying in there, the Pell Grant, $550 check for my college students. The money to repair the home if you live in a low-income community. The CTC, $3,600, the child tax credit staying in there. And finally, the $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. Wow. The first add-on comes from Southern California here in Maxine Waters. She got in there. $25,000. No, she wanted $25,000, but she got a little bit less. And what is this money for? It is money for the purchase of your first home. Yeah, you're hearing me right. That is not a misstatement. They got in there free money to buy your first home. How do you get this money? It's coming up later in this video. Stay with me. Home repairs and paid leave is in the second cluster, and paid leave is staying in there, folks, so far. Universal pre-kindergarten and also the household tax credit. But this home repairs is to weatherize your home, so your home is ready for natural disaster, which is every time that Joe Manchin appears on a Sunday morning talk show. No more Sunday morning appearances by you, Joe. After yesterday, everything is back on track. Very exciting. The second add-on comes from Bob Casey. Bob Casey wanted to give you big money, and he got it in there. $250, he got a little bit less. This is home health care, free for seniors and people on disabilities. They got it in there as the second add-on. Let's go to the third cluster checks. Wow. In this third cluster, we have a lot of checks, and boy, there is deliciousness in there. So they got in there seniors and free internet. They also got in there the cheaper prescription medication. So what is in this third cluster? Free school meals for all checks, tax-free checks. They got out the immigration reform. That failed out. They got in there the money for the independent contractors. Also, the farmers, the independent contractors' money, and then the money for the free internet and the seniors. The seniors' money is across 2 provisions added on the House side and 3 provisions that would be added on the Senate side. So the House members got the expansion of Medicare with hearing and the Medicaid gap fix. The senators still want to add in there 3 other provisions, which are dental, vision, and lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, which is par for the course of what's going on right now. If you've not noticed, in the last 2 weeks, we've been watching Real Housewives of West Virginia, the Joe versus Joe show. Well, because of that, the senators have not added in anything to this recon yet that they want to add in there. So everything they want to add in there has not been added because they haven't gotten to the adding time yet. And that is why it's important to stay on point, because the MSCs is one of the provisions that they have vowed they're adding in there. What is MSC and what does that refer to? It's an acronym used on this channel to describe multiple IRS stimulus checks. It's far different than the other checks in this recon, because there are multiple checks in this recon. And not to make anything confusing, while there are multiple checks in this recon, this refers to the instruments that will be sent out by IRS. That's why we call them IRS checks. What are they talking about? Well, back in the month of May, legislators, senators told thousands of viewers it's going in there. And 2 weeks ago, I told viewers to re-advocate, and you did. And the viewers were told once again, it's going in there. Chuck Schumer's office, via Bernie Sanders' office, told Janet it's going in there. Same message to Donnie and Donnie's wife from Juan Wyden's office. Same message to Bonnie from Liz Warren's office. Same message to Lynn Glenn from Chris Coon's office. And same message to viewers across the board for this provision. When we talk about MSC, what are these legislators saying? They're saying they want to do the same as third stimulus check, which was $75,000 or less, you got it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you got it, double it. Family of 4, you got it, quadruple it. And if you know benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, you got it as well. It's not income, it's not taxable, it's offered nationwide, it's not state stimulus. And also, it's offered to adult dependents and also people on of all benefits across the board. They have spoken about $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, but this is why it's important for you to advocate. Because guess what? That recon is at the edge of the finish line, but is not over the finish line. And it's important for you to advocate until it's over the finish line. And that is what the chief of staff to the number one guy in this recon tells viewers channels to re-advocate. That chief of staff tells the LA viewers that you need to continue advocating until the recon is finished. And that involves picking up the phone and saying, I need it. And legislators have received over 8 million phone calls from the channel's viewers. But you need to advocate until we are over the finish line. And who do you advocate to? What do you say? Well, do not use the word MSC, use simple language, and pick up the phone and call them. Speak to the staffers and contact Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Tell them why you need it and why it's important. Again, do not use the word MSC, use simple languages. Casey, Coons, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, and Schumer. Meantime, give yourself some time to advocate for your wallet, and that involves getting the big money available today. Your Christmas stimulus, your holiday stimulus, it's called third stimulus, and it's paying viewers out a lot of money. Average is $5,000 in the last 2 weeks. In the second half of this recording, we're going to go over how do you get these big sums of money. I'm so excited for so many viewers who have listened and learned. They're cashing checks, not tracking checks. I'm going to show you how to get this big sums of money. You want $5,000 today? It's coming up in the second half of this video. Student loan debt forgiveness, we're going to turn to that and go over how that is being offered by executive order. What you need to know about that student loan debt forgiveness, it's coming up in the second half of this video. Then we'll be turning to that incredible recon that will pass in the month of January, and the changes that are going in there, and the programs that are staying in there, and the programs that are being added into. And what happened with that Zoom chat yesterday, brand new breaking news you haven't heard before until today. Then we'll be turning to that also to the importance of that big fifth stimulus, COLA raise, and its impact on your SNAP. And I'll give my input on what I think is happening with the Federal Reserve in January in view of what's happening with Omicron. Those details and more. Plus, the final 5 minutes of this video, I'll show you how to get more money and what my commentary will reveal about the recon as we go into a big morning's show. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds with the latest details about that Zoom chat. It's coming up in the second half of this video. Stay with me. But first, here's the commercial break. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now in the second half of Mornings LALATE live from Santa Monica with that recon being passed in January. The latest details of that Zoom chat revealed for the first time on this channel right now. The Senate changes going in there will be robust, and the program's saying about $15,000. And no time or place to wait for fourth stimulus in January. Time to get money right today from third stimulus. I'm going to show you how to get these big sums of money. Then we turn to that student loan debt forgiveness offer by executive order. How it would work and what is it? This stimulus has impact on your SNAP benefits and your COLA raise, plus my input and insight as to what I believe the Federal Reserve is going to do in January. I give you the analysis, and I'll give you the analysis of what I think is going on with Shock and Joe Manchin. It's coming up in the final 5 minutes of this video, but first I want you to subscribe to this incredible family. So go right under this video right now and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss a video crossing the board. Hit that subscribe because you want to be part of the #1 most watched geopolitical news channel in America, LALATE. #3 most watched financial news channel among internet and broadcast media. Join and become a member, get an incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, and also sign up for the LALATE alerts. It's also linked under the video's description. And with that, we go into the incredible deliciousness of what happened with that meeting among the Senate Democrats yesterday by Zoom chat, and where we're going forward from here. And boy, is there a lot of brand new breaking news starting right now. It was last week this time where I said no time or place to miss a video and check in later that day and say what I miss, because the situation is so fluid. So let me go over how people who may have saw what happened on Sunday, missed Monday or Tuesday, and hopefully do not miss today, are going to be left behind because the situation is changing so quickly. Late Tuesday, Leader Schumer had that Zoom chat with his fellow Democratic senators that I had told you about on Tuesday what happened. It did happen. Did Joe Manchin show up? He did. And did it go well? It went really well. Now, how did Chuck Schumer hold it? He started by having Joe Manchin speak first and explaining his position. And what did Joe Manchin say? He said, my position has not changed over the last 5 months. And he said that during those 5 months, he has always supported the recon. Untrue. Lord, just really untrue. He is changing literally by the hour. Joe Manchin has had 3 versions of Joe Manchin. The Joe Manchin you saw on Sunday said, I'm having a holiday party, and if the fourth stimulus recon shows up at the door, I'm not letting it in. I'll wave at you, Mr. Chuck, from the street, but you're not allowed into the party. That was Sunday. He said, I don't even want to hear about the recon. Then on Monday, there was the second Joe Manchin. The second Joe Manchin appeared on a separate channel. And he says, I like the fourth stimulus recon, but it needs to have some changes. If you make the changes, maybe I'll do it. That's sort of the wishy-washy, I'm non-committal Joe Manchin. The one yesterday was the third Joe Manchin. During the Zoom chat, Joe Manchin immediately said, I've always said I want to support this recon and always wanted to pass this recon. Someone play the tape for him. Can someone play the reruns for him? Because that's not what you said on Sunday, Joe. Number 2, he said, ironically, during the chat, nothing negative about any provision, never said he wants to remove any provision, and never said he wants to change any provision. He said that the recon is not finished because he wants to add a lot more in there. I love it. You can add as much as you want, Joe. Add as much as you want, so long as you don't touch my stuff. We're good with that, Joe. So Joe Manchin said he wanted to add in there more money to levy for corporate taxes, more money to go after wealth tax, more money to collect taxes. He wanted to generate more money for poor parts of the United States that he thinks is not being collected from wealthy billionaires. Very, very on point. So good. And as to everything else, he was still fine. Very confusing, very confusing. So why did this seem to apparently work? And why is the situation ever changing on this channel? It was 24 hours ago where I was live on air with you on Mornings LALATE, and I said the best way you get this done is calling the vote. And I said by calling the vote, you can change the language several ways. First, you debate, but don't vote yet because you first debate. And if you see problems with the language, you change the language. Then you call the vote. Still have problems, change the language. Then finish the voting. Then if you still have problems with the language, change it during Vonorama. Well, yesterday what Joe Manchin he said, let's just change it all together right now. We're good. Who is this version? I love this version. I'll call this the Tuesday Joe Manchin. The Tuesday Joe Manchin is absolutely wonderful. The Monday one is a waste of time because he doesn't commit to anything. He just sort of passes he says, get back to me, 20 years from now. I'll think about it. And the Sunday one, he doesn't want to even, be invited to the New Year's Eve party. He is off to Antarctica for New Year's Eve. So the Tuesday Joe Manchin, great. I love it. So what's going on here? And what works and what is not working. What is working is Chuck Schumer taking it under control. Chuck Schumer is not going to play games. Chuck Schumer is not going to mince words. And Chuck Schumer is not going to take something off the track. So what Chuck Schumer has seen is that this is the Senate and senators, and to keep it amongst themselves. So Pramila Jayapal on Sunday said no one should negotiate with Joe Manchin. Take her out of the equation. She's a House member. She's not a senator. Take her out of the equation. Nancy Pelosi Monday said, don't change any of the language of the recon. You have to change the language of the recon. It is not perfect. You have to change the language. Take her out of the equation. The White House and the president saying Joe Manchin this, Joe Manchin that, take them out of the equation. They're not the legislative branch of the U.S. government. The Senate is in control right now because it's their legislation in their body. Finally, if you've been on this channel for a while, you know the senators have never added in or made their changes yet because they were watching Real Housewives of West Virginia unfold. And now that that show's hopefully going to get canceled relatively soon, they can start adding their provisions in there across the board. Let's go over the incredible provisions. And then later in this video, I'm going to show you my commentary about why this Zoom chat really changed the face of where we are. The recon going for a vote in January, the recon passing in January, the recon adding stuff in there from both Joe Manchin, Bernie, and Ron Wyden and everyone else in January, and everything going in there. But what I'm going to show you right now is what's already in there from the House, and I'll go over what's still staying in there across all these incredible checks. Again, the recon will pass in January. There will be Senate changes to them. I'm going to go over those changes right now. And the programs that are in from the House already, just the programs of the House, are at least 15,000. So what are these programs? One of the ones that are in there is the paid leave. Paid leave did not come up in the meeting during the Zoom chat. Very fascinating, even though Joe Manchin had said, I'm against paid leave doing by recon. I'm in favor of paid leave by bipartisanship. But Joe Manchin, the Tuesday Joe Manchin, the reasonable Joe Manchin, would understand that there's no Republicans that will do paid leave. So you can't say I'm going to do paid leave by bipartisanship. You have to do it by recon. How much does it pay? A lot. Paid leave pays $1,700 a week if you make $70,000 or more per year. $800 a week if you make $35,000 or more per year. $400 a week if you make $15,000 or more per year. How many weeks? Up to 4 weeks per year. Wow, incredibleness. Now, up to 4 weeks per year, that is thousands of dollars. Who gets it? All income levels, all workers, W-2 and 1099s. And if you don't work, but you live with your son or daughter and they take off from work once a week to take you to the doctor, then they're going to get the check for the household. Incredible. Then they got in there the raising up of the universal of the SALT cap. It's currently capped at $10,000 of what you can deduct in state and local taxes on the federal tax return. It'll grow to $72,500. A lot more. They got $40 billion of free job training in there as well for millions of Americans who want to take that higher paying job. And then they got in there the Medicaid gap fix. Very beneficial across the board. That Medicaid gap fix provides low income uninsured people in 12 Republican holdout states medical insurance they haven't had. Which then brings us to the best provision in this entire recon. You know what it is. It's the housing provision. With $150 billion of housing in there, 6 provisions, 3 old, 3 new. The 3 new provisions are weatherizing, home repairs, and first-time home purchases. And the other 3 provisions that are existing are rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance. But the great news is you don't have to wait for 4th stimulus. You can get them right today from 3rd stimulus. So get that pen and paper out because I'm going to go over all those incredible sums of money for 3rd stimulus right today. This is your Christmas stimulus. This is your holiday stimulus. Viewers are cleaning up, and I'm so excited for so many viewers across the board. Get your pen and paper ready. We're going to go over all these sums of money right now. It's 3rd stimulus. And the average view of this channel in the last 2 weeks has gotten $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent, and 2 utilities. And now, because they're listening to the final 5 minutes of this video, they're getting an additional about $700 on top of that. So they're now approaching $6,000. The low end I've seen is about $2,000 on this whole thing for viewers. The high end, we had one viewer go $138,000. So get your pen and paper ready. We're going to go over all these incredible sums of money right now. It starts back in December 2020, a year ago this month, when people were waiting for the holidays. We were at the end of 1st stimulus. You had used up all your 1st stimulus. And 2nd stimulus was not going anywhere with the negotiations of Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi. So I said, you need money for the holidays. Let me show you how to get money, because I knew how to get people money. I just got to them $25 million of EID alone. So I said, let me get you this money for the holidays. And I got viewers $250,000 for rent and these other items. I said to you, when 3rd stimulus becomes law, you'll be able to get more of it. Because at the time, I had seen a preview of a legislation that very few people had had anywhere, almost exclusive. And I called it, and I coined the expression third stimulus. I said there's $1,500, $1,400 stimulus checks in there, but there's upwards of $15,000 of checks that you can get when it becomes law. Don't focus on the stimulus check, focus on the $15,000. And when it became law, you pounce, hawk, hawk, as a purple hawk, and got upwards of $45,000 from third stimulus. Then over the summer, you remained focused and got another round, got additional round sounds of this money. But then 3 weeks ago, you and I understood what was going on. Almost 4 weeks ago, you and I understood what was going on. Fourth stimulus was not going to land in your wallet by Christmas. So I said, after I'd already gotten you holiday gifts and holiday meals back in October for this channel, I said, let me get you some more third stimulus. It was a shocker to viewers for two reasons. One, viewers who had gotten it before thought they couldn't get it again. And number two, people who had never gotten it thought it had been used up. So I said, let's get it again. Let's get another round. And boy, have you done well. So get a pen, paper, and if you're a member, get that newsletter in front of you, and we go over all these incredible sums of money right now. And it's rent, mortgages, utilities as well. And this is incredible, great news. Here is a tough love moment I want to give right before I go into it. New today is that as the news from Joe and Chuck turned to the positive since Sunday, I immediately started getting donut comments from people saying, okay, so what day in January is the vote? We have really changed the universe in this year. We've changed our mentality. We've changed our approach. No one anywhere on this channel should be asking, what day is the vote in January? Because you are doing the wrong thing we left behind in 2020. We're not going into 2022 doing that again. What is that? That's tracking a check, waiting for the mailbox, waiting for the mailman to drive up the street. We ain't doing that. We stopped it in 2020. And in 2020, when I came into the space, people were doing that. I said, no, you don't do that. That's financial dependence. You're going to cause trouble. And Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi got nothing done. And people were dependent upon their potentially doing things. We're not doing things. We're cashing checks. If there's a wad of checks behind these ornaments behind you, you're going to grab it and take it now. You're not going to wonder what's coming on December 25th. You're going to grab what's behind me. Same thing for next year. You're not going to look to January and say, I'm going to count the days on January on the calendar and mark them off. No. We left that behind in 2020. Most of us have focused the right way. There's still a few residue of the donut people. Donut people need to really not do that or leave, because that's not what we do here. We don't track dates. We grab cash that's available now, and we don't focus on dates and tracking checks. And so get that pen and paper ready. Get that newsletter ready. We're going to go over the big money available for you right now, and I'll show you how to get more of this with big sums of money, and congratulations to the viewers who've got it as well. It is upwards of $5,000. It is rent, utilities, mortgages, and more, and we're going to go over the great details right now, and boy, has it grown a lot. It was $20,000 to $30,000 of rent, no less than 3 months ago, but how much money has it grown to now? It has grown to $40,000 of rent. Let me show you the graphic. The money for rent has gone up a lot because viewers have gotten so good at this. So here we go. This is the graphic 2 to 3 months ago, and it was $20,000 to $30,000 of rent. Now it's upwards of $40,000 of rent. Wow. So where do you get it? Take notes. Follow along with the newsletter. If you're a member, here we go. 6 places. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall, and State House Authority. And the keywords you can say are rent assistance because of COVID. Mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There are 3 musts you must do. You must reach out to all 6 places. You must get multiple applications to file. And you must get multiple rounds. What is a multiple round? Let me explain this. If you got rent early this year from third stimulus, you can get another round today. You can get another pot of money today because it's different months. You got it for, let's say, February, March. Now you can get it for December, January. You can also get different rounds at the same time. Let's say Organization 1 today pays your rent for November, December of this year. You can turn to Organization 2 just 10 minutes later and say, pay my rent January, March, February for next year. That's how you do it. That is rent and mortgage assistance. Do it the same way. Utilities, do the same way. Reach out to utility companies, ask for utility assistance because of COVID, and it's a lot. Mark's brother-in-law is getting $15,000. It's grown a lot. Get all your utility companies across the board to get paid. SNAP. If you got a third stimulus check, you should not be paying for your own food. Get that SNAP. It grows a lot. It grew 25% lifetime in the month of October, and Mark's brother-in-law is getting $25,000 a year. Wow. Over 10 years, he's getting $250,000. Get combo items. Inspired by Nisi and Art Sullivan. They got 3 in the month of March, ever since May. Since then, I've always said, get at least 3 like Art and Nisi. Here was Mark. He was at 2. He hadn't had his third. He got his third. He went from 32 to 50. Now he's got more. He's at over $100,000. Lorraine, she was at 105. Now she's at 120. Get that money as well. And now let's turn to the incredible story of Johnny. Johnny truly inspires where we are. Now let me explain why this is so important, third stimulus. Let me explain how this looks. You have a lot of cash in your pocket. It's for the rent for December. Let's choose a number, $1,000. It's a lot of cash to pay the landlord. Well, guess what? Imagine someone walks up to you and says, you can leave that wad of cash in your wallet, sir. I'm going to pay the rent for you. So if that wad of cash doesn't have to come out of the pocket to pay the landlord the rent for December 2021, then you can take $200 out of that $1,000 and buy some holiday gifts. You can take another $100 and buy some holiday meals. You can take another $100 and buy a holiday trip. That's how it works. Here's another example. Then let's say you turn out to the utility companies and you say, I know that water bill is like $300. I have $300 in my wallet. And you're about to take out the $300 from your wallet. And you're about to hand it to the utility company. Someone says, no, you don't have to pay that. I'll pay it for you. You keep the $300. Put it towards your family. Really? Then suddenly you've created financial independence because you've had your bills alleviated for that month. And then you do months, and then you do many months, and you keep on pushing. Let's go over Johnny's incredible story. It starts with part 1. He was watching this channel several weeks ago, and he started on Monday with 0. By Wednesday, he had 3 programs approved, $45,000. Good for 3 days, but many people say, but what happened next? And I said, he listened to the videos, which I say, get as much money as you can from as many programs. And by the end of the week, he had 7 programs approved in 5 days. Now, to get 7 programs approved, he had to have made 15 phone calls because you're going to have upwards of a 50% rejection rate. You're going to have a lot of no's, but you also have a lot of yeses. So he made 15 phone calls. And how much did he get in those 5 days for the 7 programs? $80,000. Wow. Part 2 is an incredible story. Followed the following Monday when he reached out to 2 family members and said, hey, I got $80,000 last week from LALATE. They said, from what? He said, from third stimulus. So how come I haven't heard this anywhere? He says, because he covers it on this channel. And I do. This channel is now the number 3 most watched financial news channel, broadcast TV or print media or online anywhere in the United States. Number 1 on this, geopolitical news. They don't cover all this. And in a week like this with Joe Manchin, did you ever see broadcast media ever cover any of this money? No, they don't cover it. Number 3, Johnny's incredible update. Part 3 came in 3 weeks ago. He said, I've been helping more people. I said, how many? It snowballed, he said. It snowballed. People kept on coming over, and I helped a lot. How many, Johnny? He said, 32. Wow, I said. I said, how much money did you get those 32 people? He said, $850,000 by becoming members and subscribers, watching your channel, watching the videos, and doing it together. $850,000. So go right on this video right now and become a member because you owe it to yourself to get these big sums of money from first, second, and third stimulus and get ready to do the same when fourth stimulus becomes law. Get these incredible sums of money because this is money that was allocated for you. The federal government plotted this money out for you to get. Go right on this link to this video and become a member. That membership newsletter goes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system and the LALATE alert system. The LALATE alert system is totally free. Get that incredible newsletter that features the 6 places to reach out to, covered in this video. The keywords you say, feature in this video. But it also features stuff not covered in this video. The 5 nonprofits and what they help with, what they pay for, and their eligibility. The 1 nonprofit that helps with home repairs. And also the important Treasury statement you want to read, newsletter. Treasury news briefing you want to read before reaching out to get this money for rent because it'll help you across the board. And with that, let's go right back into 4th stimulus, which we left off last at the housing provisions. So 3 housing provisions are brand new. They are weatherize your home, all types of homes to sustain natural disaster, the home repairs, that would be if you live in a low-income community, and the first-time home purchases. There will be money given from the federal government to the seller in your name at the time of escrow. They got $150 billion in there for home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. That is incredible. They got in there the $550 check for the Pell Grant for my college student. They got the $12,500 for the electric vehicle at the time of purchase, U.S. auto manufactured, and the $65 per month per child when they're not in school for nutrition. Which brings us to the best provisions, Recon, which is the cheaper medicine. Medicare Part B, Medicare Part D, the most expensive medication there is out there, cancer, arthritis, diabetes, dramatically reduced. Day one, 20 medications, like an insulin dose, going from $1,000 to $35, growing to 30 medications by the year 2028, and not increasing more than the rate of inflation. Meantime, if you look at that graphic that says 15,000 in front of you, well, it's clearly not 15,000. It's clearly a lot more you now see. Everything for third stimulus is repeated. That's 45,000. Then we have all the Senate add-ons. They represent they're going to add on Maxine, Bob Casey's stuff. And we're not even at to MSC. Even before we get to MSC, there's upwards of about $40,000 to $50,000 of checks. Is incredible recon. That's why you want to pounce. That's why you want to take notes. That's why you want to become a member to get all these checks as soon as they become law. What are some of the other checks this recon? Well, the universal pre-kindergarten for 3 to 4-year-olds. We went over the Pell Grant. We went over the nutrition. We went over the housing. But the provisions that are set to expire that they will have to rewrite, because they're expiring now, are the earned income tax credit for my hazard pay workers, expanded, the CTC, and the child care. More about this and my analysis of the situation in the final 5 minutes of this video, but let's take a detour for just a blink of an eye over to student loan debt forgiveness with the offer to go by executive order once again. The president has already forgiven student loan debt 3 times before. This would be yet another version. Previously, the president forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, then for people who went to work in the nonprofit sector, then the public sector. The offer of $10,000 currently on the table would be for everyone. Democrats should take it. Fifth stimulus, COLA, SNAP, and everything you want to know. Your questions and answers starting right now. Your benefits, COLA, are going up 5.9% starting January 1. Automatically, you don't have to do anything at all. Your COLA benefits are income. Your benefits are income, and because they're income, they are subject to how much in SNAP you get. Your SNAP is not going to fall dramatically. That is a fake narrative because your COLA lift is only 5.9%. For 1 or 2 viewers who are sending messages saying my SNAP is going down $500 or $400, that's not because of COLA. You did something wrong somewhere else, so contact Department of Agriculture. Fifth stimulus comes right behind this and says, you know what, COLA is there, but it ain't sufficient. We want to replace it with inflation. And that would be the new benchmark starting December 2022. First, they'll raise your benefits up one time to get caught up, then apply a new benchmark starting next year. Remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, and remove the marriage penalty, and love is going to win. This is a lot more money, and it's lifetime. A lot more money than SS200 would ever have been. A lot more money. Finally, my commentary of what's going on with the Federal Reserve and Omicron. This is my analysis of the situation, what you should expect for January. It was the week of Thanksgiving that I first showed this graphic that a new variant was deduced coming from South Africa called Omicron. At the time, there was not even 1 case in the United States. Last week, there was 3% of U.S. cases Omicron. Today, there are over 70% of U.S. cases, and they will be the dominant strain in the United States this week. Omicron is still not posing as dangerous a threat as Delta, but the issue is business disruption. Business disruption is already kicking in. Travel, leisure, hospitality, and now education is all being impacted by the spread with ICU beds at full capacity. What does this mean for your wallet? It means that the Federal Reserve, in my opinion, will come in and do things differently. My opinion of the situation is the following. The Federal Reserve last week said, I'm dealing with 2 situations. 1, tapering. 2, interest rate spikes. We are going to do a faster tapering, removing support of this U.S. economy by buying mortgage-backed securities started during the pandemic because Inflation is high because there's really good growth, because Omicron is not a factor at the moment. So we're going to taper faster. We are not going to talk about interest rate spikes at all now until we're done with the tapering. Now, listen to those key words. He said, because at the time, Omicron is not a factor. He also said, the Fed chair, Jay Powell, if the situation changes, we will pivot and change as well. I believe that now that Omicron is the number one variant, number one, that hospitalization is at full capacity in many, many states, number two, that business disruption is already occurring across multiple industries, not just one, that the Federal Reserve in January will say, we are slowing down the tapering. We sped it up for a few weeks. We're going to slow it down because this is not looking good, not looking the same situation it was for Omicron in December. Most medical analysts say the worst situation for COVID will be in the month of January to March because it takes a few days to get sick, a few days to catch it, a few days to get sick, a few days to be realized you're sick enough to go to the hospital, and a few days to get worse potentially in the hospital. And then even more days for that data to come out to the financial markets. That would be January to February. So the business disruption could kick all the way to March. I believe the Federal Reserve is going to come in and remove the faster acceleration on the tapering, slow it down. And with that, let me go into my commentary in the final minutes of this video with what I think is going on with this recon and where we're going as a family, where this recon is going in January, and what you should need to know going into the new year. First, I was so excited by viewers this weekend. I adored this family on Sunday when Joe Manchin came out with something that an unformed, non-knowledgeable, non-viewer, non-subscriber, non-member would said, I'm just buying a cemetery plot after what I heard from Joe Manchin on Sunday. And you just brushed it off, and rightfully so, because you have been taught by me, one, there are multiple Joe Manchins. Two, he often says no and then says yes. And three, you just give it a day to settle down and leave it to Chuck to figure this out. Well, the Joe Manchin from Tuesday is a different Joe Manchin from Sunday. He acts like the Sunday Joe Manchin didn't even exist. Very, very consistent with what goes on with Joe Manchin. We have a lot of lighting issues because I have lights everywhere of the Christmas decoration. Then we had, so that was great. Second, you understood that the recon was not getting gutted. It wasn't like Joe Manchin was coming in with a chainsaw and cutting apart the recon. He wasn't. And so I love your diligent, focused approach across the recon. I'm also really loving that viewers have been really laser focused on third stimulus. You have been so good on getting the money for third stimulus. So here are two other items you can get for third stimulus. First, look at the notes and figure out which utilities did you get and what months did you get it for in the last 2 weeks. If you only got one utility, go get the other utilities. If you only got one utility for 1 month or 2 months, go get a lot more months. Let's focus on what these rounds mean. It means we have to write down, I got this thing for this month and that month. Well, I'm going to go to another organization and get other months. So for example, let's say you got the heating oil paid for November, December 2021 by organization 1 yesterday. Well, go get organization 2 to pay for January, February, March. This is a lot of money. This is always an extra $700 per month per item. So you can do the math. It can easily run up to thousands of dollars in just one phone call. Because if you get 3 months for something, whether it's utilities, I'm going to keep my hands down because the Christmas lights and the camera just not liking the hands up. I'm going to keep my hands down. If you can get 1 month for one item, like a utility or rent, it's a difference of an extra $600, $700. You know how much your monthly bills are, these particular items. And if you get 3 months of that from one organization, yeah, that's a lot more than you even got 2 weeks ago. Absolutely laser focus. I've also been very ecstatic that we have been able to nearly, I would say almost 90% of the way, removed the donutry that was out there from 2020 in 2021. It took a lot of effort telling people stop talking about dates. Stop sending me DM messages on Instagram. What day is the vote in January? What date is Chuck going to call the vote in January? What date is the vote-a-rama? Stop it. You are literally not doing that anymore. Not here on this channel. You won't do it because this is tough love. Very, very tough love because that is Steve Mnuchin, Nancy Pelosi, donutry of 2020. That is going to set you up for failure because you are penciling in a date to January, thinking, oh, everything is going to be great on January date, when a wad of cash has been, I don't want to move my hands, I can capitalize. A wad of cash has been behind this tree for 10 minutes and you haven't grabbed it because you didn't want to make the phone call and get the money. That's now how we do it on this channel. So I'm so excited for you. Now, what do I think has to go forward with this recon? I have a lot of opinions about this one. So I think the way the recon will get done smoothly and quickly in January is Chuck calling the shots. Pramila Jayapal needs to butt out. She is a House member. She got nothing she promised the viewers of the channel into the recon. And her way to go out on Sunday, say, no one negotiated with Joe Manchin, he's a liar, is just, it's just awful. It's awful. She should be ashamed of herself. I don't care how he may have treated you or how he did treat you or he didn't treat you. You don't do that to people you work with. And to say to not negotiate with him, well, if you don't negotiate with him, you're not going to get anything. So she needs to butt out. In fact, I'm going to make it a little broader. Every House member needs to butt out, including Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi on Monday said, keep the recon exactly how it is, just pass the Senate. No, Nancy, we all know the recon is not perfect. It is erred. It needs to be fixed. The last group that needs to butt out is the White House staff. And I'm going to take Joe Manchin's side on this because remember when we had those votes on Thursday night back in November? And I told you, White House staff rushed over to be in the room with Chuck Schumer's offices in the Senate with Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema, and Bernie Sanders. They need to stay out. Stay back on Pennsylvania Avenue or whatever address they work out of. Stay out. And the reason why is because the following. The White House has been playing language games. You and I agree upon something. And this thing we all agree upon, and I think almost every U.S. citizen agrees upon the same thing. We are not giving 20 years of checks to newborn children. It's ridiculous. That's $60,000 to a child that hasn't even sat on this planet yet. Someone in the White House wants to do that. Someone in the White House thinks they can trick the entire American people, the press corps, fellow Democratic senators by making masquerading language that is supposed to be 20 years, that is really 20 years, as 1 year. The White House originally wanted these programs to be generationals, running for 20 years so Joe Biden can go down the history books as passing something that went on for 20 years. That was $7 trillion. It didn't work. Then it went to $3 trillion, 10 years, didn't work. Then it went to $1.7 trillion, which is 1 year programs. But the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, a nonpartisan organization, myself, Mitch McConnell, Joe Manchin, and some of the press all say, you look at this recon, there's trickery language in there, trying to masquerade 20 years of checks to young children as 1 year checks. And we ain't doing $20,000, it should be $60,000 of checks, 20 times $3,600. Yeah, we're not doing $60,000 of checks to unborn children. I mean, it's ridiculous. So we need the White House to stay out of this because there's someone in the White House that's playing games with language. Chuck Schumer, the New Yorker with the eyeglasses on the nose, Mr. Broadway. He is not going to play games with language. He really has his hands on top of language. Joe Manchin doesn't play games with language. He doesn't. He will catch your trickery in the language. You say the corporate tax rate is 28%. He looks at it, it's really 26.5. That's not 28. It's 26.5. He'll catch any error like that. You will see this recon pass and become law. If the House members stay out of it, the White House stays out of it, the White House press corps stays out of it, and leaves Chuck Schumer to do what Chuck Schumer does best. And if you want to include me, I can go over there as well. You know, there's someone at your office, Chuck. Who is it? It's a guy with a surfboard and some ornaments on the surfboard. Excuse me? He says he's from Los Angeles. Los Angeles, New York? No, Los Angeles, California. Oh, okay. And a surfboard? What is the surfboard for? Did you ask him what the surfboard is? He says he wants to surf the tow truck and the tow hitch over the finish line. He wants to do what? He wants to surf the tow truck and the tow hitch over the finish line. Put them on the surfboard and push it. I'll speak to this guy. I think this is like, you know, from an Ashton Kutcher punk episode or something. And with that, we're going to get through this together as a family. Join me next with programming throughout the day. Holidays LA comes up next at 11 a.m. And then we got shows throughout the day. Meantime, if you did not catch it, Evenings LA is now expanded with 3 incredible shows across the board. And last night's Calcino was, oh boy, it was good. We have Evenings LA brand new at 5 o'clock. We have Evenings Countdown at 6 o'clock. Holiday Stream Stillness at 7. At 8 o'clock is the Runaway new show called Evenings Extra. Big Runaway hit. And it's opposite Calcino, which ironically, they're two very different shows. Calcino's humor, Evenings Extra is all information like this, and they both killed it last night. Calcino was a really good episode. If you missed it last night, it'll air again tonight. And with that, I want you part of this incredible family. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers YouTube record. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Stay informed and stay focused. Get behind me as we put that tow truck on top of the surfboard and push it over the finish line. Stay informed and stay focused, and stay with Our Life and More.